day. It's middle of the week. We have the better half of the week in front of us. That's where we make more money, right? The weekend, we know that for a fact. Usually the Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday are not so strong. So the title of my video, a little bit controversial, but I'll tell you why I made it, right? We should start impeachment hearings on CEO Dara K. And I think there are enough reasons going around to verify this, right? And to justify this. Now, I like the video that Gridwise, he has 282 subscribers. They did a video. We asked 500 Uber drivers what they think about Dara K, Uber CEO. This gentleman, you'll see his voice.
Can do to help drivers feel like, okay, you're actually helping me make money and not trying to help just yourself make money. Just give me some
I like the guy, very well spoken. And I'm going to put the link underneath and maybe you can chime in. I want to give this guy a shout out. It looks like he's a newbie. He's trying hard. I like his direction. His name is Gridwise. Go over and support him. Subscribe to him. And then also join that survey. Now, in that survey, he says that over 60% of the drivers want to see CEO Dara K gone, or they basically disapprove of him, right? And Mr. Uber's in the house, Ram's in the house, all loyal, hardworking drivers here. Mohammed Khalil, Matt Fitzgerald in the house. Good to see you guys. I will get to these individuals, all of these names, because this video is going to get very, very, very interesting. And just a brief update on GOAT, greatest of all time, rideshare app. We are already in the phase of doing beta testing. I'm not a person that puts out the coming soon, but I have received a couple of inquiries. How far are you? So the code that we ride, the platforms that we use for this new scheduling app, right? We're testing. So that would be my update for all of the people who want an update on GOAT. Now let's go back to the story, right? Why I believe Dara K, why we should start impeachment hearings. Firstly, I don't know if you guys saw his Axios interview where he referred to the murder of Jamal Khashoggi as a mistake. Man, did he backtrack that very quickly. He's come out on Twitter, he's apologized. I think it's a good thing that he can at least apologize and realize that it was wrong, completely wrong what he did there. But this is not CEO material, right? This is not what the investors need right now. This is not what the drivers need right now, is a guy that can't even conduct himself in the media, right? And if you think of his statement, right, if you think of this dumbass comment, as Mark Roughton says here in the channel, then you got to ask yourself, what lies in the future, right? What other crazy things are going to happen? Now the public jumped on this, right? They hashtag boycott Uber, hashtag boycott Uber. Even, non-riders, non-passengers, just the public jumping all over Dara K. Investors are not liking it, right? And look at the stock price once again. It's just not getting out of that $26 range, right? What was it listed at? $45. Where is it now? $26. So, the replacement has to come. Now, these guys here, Andrew Young, Mateo Sanchez, Kusheshwar Bhagat, Jarrod JB, Jane Lee, Robert Wu, Anna Ools, Andrew Matthews, Ruby Zeffo, Jason Allen, Stephen Lentuk, Maureen Laurie, Derek Kerr, Alison Grigonis, Marilyn Fortin, Lamis Hussain, John Mulgrew, Tara Castaldi, Jeff Nguy, Scott Binnings, Irene Persofsky. Firstly, who do you think these people are? I'll let you start guessing now already. I'm just going to keep on going, right? I want to read out every single one because I have a message for them. I agree, Junkyard. I'm going to okay your message there. Irene Putzowski, Nikki Janda, Brendan Heron, Caitlin Little, Alejandro Nino, Juan Manuel Contreras, Tiffany Bouy-Le Tourneux, Tammy Ackerman, Linda Yen, Nick Rosa, Christian, Jason Birch, Nick Stamos. Do you guys know yet who they are? Who these people are? Do you know who they are? Erica Ray. Somebody made a comment. Romeo says upper management of Uber and Lyft. Very close, very close. Geez, here my screen goes black. Obviously, my screen doesn't like these individuals. But let me carry on because I want to read their names out. Erica Ray, Jacob Alvarez, Joyoti Mizra, Aaron Brand, Diane Rogers, Andrea Rodriguez, Amy Hoffman, Cameron Gordon, Catherine Vascones, Claudia Marino, Laura McAdams, Chris Storm, Amy Williams, Ramey, Lando Juarez, Daniela Ramos Estefan, April Knight, Helen Hayes, Ben Edelhart, Tracy Merwise, Jonathan Brooks, Kelly Denham, Joseph Hunter, Scott Jalovic, Anna Pellegrini, Tanya Dusek, Paul Yang, almost there, Susanna Drennan, Achia Swift, Carlos Rhoda Parisi, Millie Hoyer, Kia Gums, Michael Reza, Chantal Bahura, David Reich, Tony Uwegu, Jay Choi, Ben Isaacson, Jennifer Vesio, Brianna Avil, Justin Sewer, and the last one should give it away, Tony West. Who are these people? I'll tell you who they are. These are all the attorneys, all the lawyers that are working for Uber, worldwide, UK, Chile, Brazil, San Francisco, all the heavy honchos. I'm very happy to announce that I have an in. Emails, names, everyone. It's very, very important to have someone who is sharing this information with you. And I would never disclose who that individual is, right? But my message to all of you individuals, you are going to be so busy defending, because what I'm seeing right now is that organizations throwing their weight behind drivers, myself throwing my weight behind drivers, educating drivers how they can fight back, right? Educating drivers how they can file papers, educating drivers how they can deal with deactivations and wrongful deactivations. And, you know, we're going to keep these guys busy. We're going to keep them very, very busy. And I'm also very proud to announce, right? You see these two documents? What are they? These are two lawsuits, right? They were filed. Copies of these are going to various institutions, totaling from me, personally, from me, rideshare Professor Torsten Kunert, $500,000, right? These are the copies. They're all sealed. Go to the San Francisco headquarters, to the Los Angeles hub. From me personally, my Christmas gift to Uber for the utter sheer nonsense, fraud, shenanigans that they have conducted, especially over the last year, thinking that they are going to steal from drivers out there, thinking that they're going to wrongfully deact drivers without a blood test, without a drug test, think they're going to bully drivers with their security, bully them out of their offices without having a voice. It's my answer to you here. It's my Christmas gift. I wrapped it up for you, $500,000 from me personally. And I'm also extremely proud to announce that just in the last week, the number of people that I was able to help on the phone, via text or email, of things that happened 2 months ago, 1 month ago, where they can still take action. Remember, there's a statute of limitations. You can go fight back. What I'm also extremely proud to announce here is that the process of opting out of this arbitration, these BS messages that Uber and Lyft try to bully you into, try to submit you into, showing the people, training them, showing the verbiage, how they opt out, right? And, if you think that Uber's had a lot of legal woes in the past, wait. I mean, we are truly coming now, right? And when I told Uber and I told these individuals at the hub, if you want to fuck around with me, excuse my French, right? But, you got to face the consequences, right? And I have laid it out very clearly in these documents what the consequences are. And one of the strongest consequences is that the media is extremely powerful. And we're going to utilize the media. All of these individuals, I have all of the emails now. I have Dara K's email. I have Chai's email. I got all the emails, right, as part of my ammunition. Because the one thing I do correctly is I gather all the evidence. As you've known, I've been gathering this for months and months and months. And then when it's the time to strike, the Cobra has one chance to strike, right? And get the toxin exactly there where it intends to hurt most. And that's me, my friends. If you don't know me, that's how I act. I will always go batting. I will always go out fighting for drivers. I will teach existing drivers, still to this very day and going forward from here onwards, how to make money, how to understand the system, work the system, and get the most out of Uber and Lyft, right? Because they've clearly shown us with things like flat surge, with these tiny little bonuses that you have to put insane amount of trips in just to reach them, with the structures of their pro rewards that they clearly treat us as hamsters and have zero respect for us, extract, take the money, and are not willing to give back. So to all these people, they're on this list. You'll be getting mail from me shortly. And best of luck to Uber's army of defense lawyers that will have to deal with an avalanche of arbitration, small claims court, etc., coming their way. And I hope and pray that a fellow YouTuber called Geo, Rideshare Revolution, follows in my footsteps, right? Gears up, legals up, and fights back, right? And collects. Because I can tell you one thing, Geo can leverage if they want to F him around, and if they believe this is final, without giving any real explanation except for a couple of bots that do like autoresponders, if that's how they're going to treat him, my advice to Geo is fight back, right? And if you need help on how to fight back, if you need help on these emails and get your message back across to these legal eagles, at least have the dignity these individuals, whether it's Christian or Andrew Matthews, Ruby Zephyr, at least have the decency, Tony West, to tell Geo how he screwed up, right? It's so disrespectful to send a little bot, a little asshole bot, after a drive and say you've been terminated, usually wrongfully terminated, right? So the movement has begun. I'm just another catalyst here who will accelerate the movement through my channel, through my outreach, through my alliances with others. And I'm fighting back. I am not standing for what Dara K is serving on our plate. I'm not standing for what Tony West, Logan Green, and executive management are serving on our platter. I am not going to take a bite of your dish because it's toxic, right? So we got to rally. Folks, understand this. We're an army of 3 million people, right? Hit me up. I'm already referring people out to law firms, to paralegals. I'm connecting people, empowering those individuals so that they have the paperwork, they have the know-how. I have people from 90 days ago that said this and this and this happened to me. What can I do? Once I read the email, there's a lot you can do, right? They just have to know how. And even if you don't have the means and the monies, you can get exemptions from the courts because you don't have the legal way to pay these fees, right? The filing fees, right? There's documentation you can file if you do not have the money or the means and you think, oh my God, this is way too expensive. No, it's not. Even putting your foot in the door and getting a hearing from a judge in small claims court is only going to set you back $40. On that day, decide whether you're going to put $40 of gas to keep on driving your Uber or Lyft car, or if you're going to spend $40 with a court and have a hearing and get more money, right? You got to think like this, folks, right? So, again, to all these individuals that I mention here, you will be seeing me doing the rounds on local TV stations. You will be reading the press releases, the newspaper editors worldwide. I've translated all my PR into 7 languages, right? Because I know that Uber is not just an English-speaking operation, right? It's got to be translated into Spanish, Portuguese, German, Chinese, Japanese, you name it, all the languages, so we connect with everyone. Because the more public members, the more drivers I can reach through PR campaigns that I have translated, that I pay to get translated, the more effective and powerful our base, the driver soldier base, the DSB, the driver soldier base becomes, right? We're going to march onwards towards San Francisco. And all of these individuals better get ready for an avalanche of legal suits coming their way, right? Now, on the bright side of things, if you're out there and still making money, for example, they cut off certain of my money-making revenue lines, right? They dried out, hence I fight back. But you know what? Beyond that, I've become very creative. I have a channel. I have a platform, Rideshare Driving School, where I educate people. I will always still fulfill that role and educate people and show them how to make money. And what I can proudly say is that I've built a massive fleet of cars, both SUVs in the black SUV and XL division, as well as Priuses in the X division. I lease out those cars every week and I collect a lot of money. So I'm not crying a river here, right? I'm not whining or bitching. I can tell you that I'm still making money and I'm still using all the angles I can take money and extract money from them. But I got to stand up for myself, right? I have to stand up for myself, right? Because if I feel wronged, if Geo feels wronged, if Dustin feels wronged with their actions, what do? Are you supposed to be an ostrich that digs his head in the sand? Or are you supposed to pull the blanket over you and go into a depression? No. You use and seize that moment to fight back and create something better, create something bigger, whether it's connecting with your family of house members, showing them or showing other people or showing the public or educating the public what these fools are doing to us, right? Then you have a purpose, right? And that purpose usually fires you up and drives you forward. I love waking up at 5:30 at 6 a.m. in the morning. I'm fired up, ready to go. I'm even more effective if I have my coffee, right? I'm probably on my 3rd coffee today, right? Some days I'm even more effective if I have an orange or a tropical Red Bull. I'm even more fired up, right? But the one thing I know and the one thing I can share with you, and again, it's in this guy's video I just gave. I'm going to give you the link, Gridwise. He has 240 subscribers. Let's make sure he gets to 1,000 subscribers by the week's end. He did a survey with 500 drivers about Dara K. And over 60% said is trash. He needs to go, right? So if we were to hold impeachment hearings today on Dara K, what things can we bring up, right? You are failing us on safety, right? You are spending $90 million to fight us instead of keeping us safe, right? You are doing the very same to your rider and passenger base. You're not coming up with genius technology ways to keep us individuals safe. It's always a one-sided affair. You're pointing the fingers at the drivers. You want them to do background checks, you want them to do finger printing, etc., but you are not doing the equivalent to the riders and passengers. Thank you, William Connor. I appreciate you. You are showing us again and again and again that you are failing humanity, right? And to come out to make a statement that that death of the individual was a mistake, shame on you, fool. That was not a mistake. That's cold-blooded murder. Call it as it is, right? So, you know, this is not a leader, right? And I hope people don't perceive me as going dark in this channel. I want to keep it realistic, right? Black or white. I don't believe in gray skies, right? You know, I'm seeking blue skies. I'm seeking clarity here. I'm seeking truth, right? I don't want the fake stories. I want the truth, ladies and gentlemen. And the truth, if we put it out in a hearing, is pretty evident, is pretty clear what the truth is. And that is, you have an underperforming stock. You have a company that's completely out of control, rampant spending money, $200,000 on balloons, all this bullshit, right? You have complete disrespect and disregard for your labor force, aka Tony West. We're not a company that has drivers. We're a technology company, right? Again and again and again, you go back to those 500 drivers that Gridwise surveyed. If we had to call a vote today, he would be impeached. He'd be gone. And I truly hope to see him go before Christmas. That probably would be the biggest Christmas gift to me. That would be the biggest Christmas gift from investors to themselves, so that we can start building together. We want this company to succeed, right? We want this company to do better, so we get paid better and get treated better and have more rights. We do want someone to come in that understands who we are, who the people are that build the company. We do want a new leader to come in that is willing to work with us, listen to us, invite us onto their board, build bridges to us. That is the type of individual I would welcome all day long. And as long as these fools here, all of these individuals, including Tony West, I put him in last because that's how I feel about him, right? He's the bottom of the barrel as far as attorneys goes, right? These individuals are all fighting to protect that brand, right? These individuals have no problem putting a label of a wrongful termination on a driver without bringing proof, right? These individuals are not coming out writing letters to the individuals why they got a wrongful deactivation. They're allowing computers and bots to do the work for them, right? But now that this movement has started, right, the silencing, you guys see this? The silencing of the Dustins, the silencing of the Geos, the silencing of the Torsons, taking away all their, let's say, referral links. Still, all these faces and names are out there, these links, and they're collecting the names, making money, but they're no longer paying, right? But what they want to do is silence us and shut us up. So this is our golden moment for you, Geo, for Dustin, for me to step up. We will not be silenced. Quite the opposite. We will scream and shout from the mountaintops, right? So that we reach all the 3,000 drivers and let these individuals know we're coming. We're coming to your doorstep in paper form, in person. We will come. Or if we send a third party in to serve the papers at the desk, we will show up at your offices and we will take our power back, right? And it starts with, you know, creating this movement. The public is already giving him a lashing with that boycott Uber. Last year, the drivers gave him a lashing with hashtag delete Uber, right? And these are phrases born out of their own incompetence, right? We didn't create these phrases. They were born out of their poor and lackluster leadership, right? Boycott Uber. Because the public is sending a powerful message to the CEO who should be impeached, who should be in front of us, right? In front of our panel and where we get to ask him, where we get to ask the questions, right? Why don't you show up at safety hearings? Why do you spend $90 million fighting us instead of funneling that into safety and saving people from rape, murders, assaults? Why don't you spend the money in the right places, right? So am I a very edgy and attacking driver currently now? Yes, I am. I'll wear that hat and I'll wear that proudly, right? Because if other people don't have the balls to say it or to do it, right, who is going to do that work for us, right? So you got to go out there and put these individuals on notice, loud and clear, that we will not tolerate these sub-minimum wages. We will not tolerate this willy-nilly surge, flat surge. I mean, we are not your lab rats. We are not your experimental rats, my friends, that you can play around with, right? And then I also beg the new leader of CEO, the new CEO, go back to your core business. It was your, hopefully, previous leader, CEO Dara, I'm talking about him in past tense, right, that said, we are the Amazon of transport. And I asked the future leader, the future CEO, let's go back to the core, right? The core is a company built on drivers. And I don't mind in what direction you want to do transport. Cover all aspects of transport, but don't confuse us. Don't confuse the public. Don't confuse the mom and the pop. Don't confuse the investor by saying, hey, Uber does jobs. Uber's a job company. They create jobs for you. Uber is Uber's money company. It's a bank. Or Uber's a health company. We provide health. Uber is Uber Eats. We sell advertising for restaurants. We deliver from restaurants. Who the fuck are you, Uber? Go back to your core roots, right? And do it right. And what I say is, if we could bring in hearings today to impeach this fool and get someone in, we deserve someone that treats us like drivers, right? We deserve someone, a CEO that'll go out there fighting for us, standing up for us, not spitting in our faces, right? Not going out on TV making bizarre, crazy statements, right? I think I've made myself pretty clear, haven't I? Right? And to get all these emails from the staff, you know, here's the reason why I do this, because I don't want to just go knocking on one door and say, hey, I have a little Christmas gift for you. No, I want to be Santa with my reindeer. I want that frickin' reindeer with a big red nose to pull a sledge of Christmas gifts in, right? And I want to be able to invite all of these staff people that back Dara K, that work for him, that work for this establishment, that work against us, right? I want to bring all of them gifts. I want my reindeer to pull up at 1455 Market Street on Christmas Day. I don't care if it rains or snows, right? I'm Santa. I'll be dressed in a beard, and I will deliver the presents from my drivers to these individuals, right? Merry Christmas to you. Have a great Christmas. I can't guarantee you it's a great gift. It might be a bag of coal. It might be a bag of charcoal. Oh my God, in fact, it is. The entire sledge is filled with charcoal. But here it is. Merry, Merry Christmas, right? It's the only language you guys will understand, right? And we got to pound them again and again and again. And we got to take this paper and slap them against their cheeks, you know, bam, 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 slap it so many times that it starts stinging, right? So that they let it sink in. This style doesn't fly anymore, folks. And whatever you little guys are doing there, we're not going to stand for it. So we are bringing the soldiers. We are bringing you the Christmas gifts. We wish you a Merry Christmas. We wish you a Merry Christmas. We wish you a Merry Christmas and a Happy New CEO. Uncle Monkey, Professor, have you been deactivated for poking the bear? I don't know. The reason on one of my accounts, right, the deactivation, they would not want to give me the reason. I'm entitled to know the reason, right? And the only way you get that is through the court system. When you start a discovery process of filing subpoenas or motions, been there, done that. I know how it works, right? But give me an answer. Give Geo an answer, right? Give Dustin an answer. If they're deactivating us to silence us, right? Because Dara K doesn't like how I call him out, because Dara K doesn't like that I expose his weakness, because Dara K doesn't like the fact that I speak the truth, so shall it be, right? Tell me in court that is why you deactivated me, and I'll be fine with it. But I will still collect, right? And the one thing I know to do well is how to rally and activate the masses. The amount of little lawsuits that I'm personally responsible for, empowering drivers, $687 here, $300 here, people showing me the judgments and the checks that they've got. It's because I start that movement, right? So, if I can do that 1,000 times, collect 600, I've collected $600,000 for the drivers. If I can do that a few 100,000 times and start new class actions, I will slap them down again and again and again until we infiltrate and get through to them, right? And you guys think that the onesies or twosies can't make a difference. Let me tell you something. That 100 people showing up on March the 25th or whatever date it was in front of the Uber, 100 people screaming and shouting with banners, just 100 people out of 3 million people, right? Shouting and screaming the banners as, the planes fly over. All of the media was there. I was on Reuters. I spoke on ABC. I spoke on KTLA, right? And all of these people circulated newspapers, stories, right? In the Chicago Tribune, in the New York Times, in the Washington Post, in the Miami Herald, right? Even as far as overseas, The Guardian, right? Die Welt in Germany, Die Antwort, whatever it was, or Pravda in France, or whatever the newspaper was called. We made headlines around the world, a group of 100 people. So don't ever tell me, no one ever tell me in this channel, right, that the onesies and twosies don't work. They work very well if you have a strategy, right? And you got to just death by 1,000 lashes. You cut, you cut, you cut, you remind, you cut, you remind, you cut. I'm telling you, paper is very, very sharp, right? The wounds that a paper can inflict, the cuts, is very, very sharp, right? You got to fight back with paper, not weapons, right? Words and paper, that's all you need, right? And you can make a tremendous, tremendous impact. So the soft spots, AB5, their inability to address safety, the incompetent leadership team, the poor performing stock, and man, do we have a lot of talking points, ladies and gentlemen. We just got to drive them home. At this moment, I want to say thank you to Dustin for unleashing the Smakovich in this room. That's it. Do you want to? I don't have that. If he would send me a Smakovich, you know what? I understand that's his brand. It would be wrong for me to use his pink one. But if this could symbolize, right? If this could symbolize the Smakovich, if you could imagine this as Dustin Smakovich, and you can imagine all of these individuals, these are all attorneys and lawyers defending, then I say smack, 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 Smakovich 1,000 times until their ears are red and burning, right? Until they're like, I can't take anymore. Enough of that paperwork. We will make it ring, folks. That's my duty. Ed, that's it. It's thumbs up, baby. So, Slick, first time I've seen Slick Nick XP here. I do recognize your face. The gentleman with the glasses, a tiny little icon. He says, I'm a filmmaker and had some story ideas to involving rideshare and deactivated drivers back. I've been comparing the plots from other films to see how to make a story out of it. Well, let me tell you, I think that's a genius idea. Sign me up. You need me? I'll work for free, my friend. I'll be an actor, a free actor. You've got one, sign me up. Give me a role to play. I'll learn the lines and I'll put on a star performance. Not going to be Oscar worthy, but I can assure you, Slick Nick, I will be there at your casting for the role, right? So whoever you want me to be, I'll be there, right? And I like the idea. I like people taking that initiative. I like people with ideas. The guy's using his skill set. He's a filmmaker and he looks at various plots. Thank you to people like you, right? Dustin is driving. I wonder who will replace Dara eventually. Well, there is a rumor out there that the guy that will be replacing Dara is nobody else but Dustin. That's it. You're going to replace him, Dustin. I would vote for you. I think Dustin would make a great leader because he knows how to connect with the people. People see me as a little bit too edgy, too, you know, it's like in your DNA. I'm too much of a fighter and have a fighter spirit. I like Dustin's happy-go-lucky style and his ability to connect with people, you know. And if Dustin were my CEO, I would have no problem taking on a role under him and saying, Dustin would say to me, Torsten, I need you to go into that market and this is what I need you to achieve there. Aye, aye, Captain. You know, but you need good people, folks. That's what I'm trying to get at here. And that the rotten apples need to go out. And hence my funny little line there, impeachment hearings. With the other impeachment hearings starting today, we're not going to get political. But with Uber, I will get political every day of the week, right? Because bad leadership has to be called out. Bad leadership has to be replaced, right? And Dustin says they would fire me after I raise the rates. I love it. See, he's bold enough to say that on the first day, would you raise rates on the first day? There, you know, that's a true CEO. That's a true leader, right? Come in there and raise the rates. Why are you getting a 5-star service for 5 cents, folks? Why are the passengers being spoiled, right, with satin gloves? And do you want caviar as well? Do we need to put a little bit cream on your strawberry cake or on your cheesecake? Why are these passengers so fucking spoiled, right? So in marches Dustin, new CEO, and the first thing he does is he slaps new rates. Amen. I think that's what the drivers were waiting for. And I think the passengers could digest the new CEO's implementing higher rates. So I think it's a great idea. Also, a shout out to my friend here, James Campbell. I want to congratulate you on that new job. I did get your text this morning, and I'm happy for you. I'm genuinely happy for you. You shouldn't have to go through what he's going through. You shouldn't, right? And it's another story. It's another classic Geo story. It's another classic Torsten story. It's another classic Dustin Lyft story, right? Rideshare 411 just marched into the room. What's up, Professor? You know, the roar. I like that part. Guys want to hear the African line? Here she goes. It's a female one because I can't do the male one. I don't have my voice today. That's the female lioness before she goes out and hunts. The male one, I'll give you another day when I have more energy, when I've had my coffee. Jose Sandoval's in the house, and he says it's digital slavery when you can get canned from any platform for any reason, including false ones, right? And that digital slavery, my friend, which you hit, you nailed it right there, right? And now they want to introduce laws that could lead to double wrongful deactivations. And remember, I reported on this the other day, that lawmakers want Uber and Lyft to share their information with each other. So in marches, some fool makes up some story, right, that, oh, my driver, I could clearly smell whiskey or brandy on their breath. Boom, deactivated. You're dealing with bots. You're not even getting an alcohol test. My friends, if that is ever the accusation, right, go right there and then spend the $80 and get a drug or get an alcohol test done on you immediately. If you feel in your gut that someone is pulling a fast one, trying to maneuver a free fare or a wrongful deactivation, cover yourself, right? Go and get the test done. So when they finally say, oh, it was because the passenger said that you smelled like brandy or whiskey, or you were so high you were swerving on the road. Hang on, I've got the documentation here to prove. Same day. Did not happen, right? Cordell, where's our friend? Cordell, Travis, Cordell, Kalanick. A shot. Exactly. Robin Reneth in the house, spoiled because Uber promised them champagne on the membrane on a beer budget at our expense without getting our permission. No negotiation for drivers. Uber made the TOU. We agreed to it, the terms of service, but Uber violates it more, right? And that little phrase in the previous video, go back, cut and paste it, put in your name, put in your email, fire it off, send it, my friends. This year costs $7.90, right? It's tracked, right? And it's insured. And go and put in your opt-out in form of a letter. It's only a few words. Go on in that video, cut and paste it, and opt out. You will thank me if shit hits the fan 1 or 2 years down the line and you say, oh my God, I got deactivated for that same reason that Gio got deactivated, or for the same reason that Torsten got deactivated. I would think that one of the reasons I got deactivated was the guy just doesn't like me. The guy just doesn't like the fact that I speak the truth, right? That's why I think I got the Smackovich from Dara. But Dara, with his little weak hands, he could try and smack this David 1,000 times. I'd still be laughing at him. I said, are you done yet? Are you done yet? Are you done yet? When will you start hitting? Right? So we march through the door, my friend. We'll bring them amazing. I have amazing Christmas gifts for Uber and the staff this year, right? James Campbell, the Swetovich. Tony Slaughter says he uses his soft hands for the oof. Be careful what you say there. You don't want those guys coming after us. George Schneider says, Ed, does your outfit have an effect on your Uber rating and tip money? Good question. Does your outfit? Listen, people say that Lyft drivers are more casual, can wear shorts, maybe even flip-flops, right? It's because the way they brand themselves. I don't quite think that you could drive in the Lux or the SUV category with flip-flops, shorts, and a t-shirt, right? Let's just say that could affect your rating, right? Because the person that's spending top money from Calabasas to LAX, an hour trip, he's paying $180 for that fare. He sort of wants someone to take him serious, right? So who knows? It could affect your rating then. But generally speaking, no. I think it's more about the personality, right? You, the personality in the car, what type of conversation you strike, how you listen, how you give feedback, how you interact with the passenger, or maybe not at all, right? Maybe they want peace and quiet. Beast of Texas says, just tell the police you need a breathalyzer and make a false report claim. Yep, there we go. He said it. Richie, hey, I know you get a lot of chances to talk to drivers. Do you find anybody enjoys driving for Uber? I didn't know you were deactivated. Yes, one of my accounts is deactivated, folks. And hence, I want to find out why, right? And the way you do that is, obviously, I opted out of the arbitration. I'm going to force straight into Superior Court over $25,000 and start. There's a thing called request for admissions, right, where you can write 30, 40 questions and they have to admit or decline. You can start your discovery. You can send out your subpoenas for documentation, for recordings, for everything, right? You could literally, in the first 3 weeks of a Superior case, you could rack up $70,000, $80,000 costs for them. And that's what I will do. right? You just bring it. And then the beauty is you set up a deposition which is recorded, where you're actually recording the body language, where you bring in, I want to depose the manager at Los Angeles Hub, by the way. I will be getting your deposition. I have made names of all those individuals that served me. I've taken notes of all the security members that thought that they could manhandle me. I will set you up in depositions and ask tough questions, right? And they're being filmed in that deposition. And that's when people tend to lose control a little bit, right? Anyway, it's going to be fun. You love it. God, I love it. I've done that. I have been in tough depositions. When I sued McDonald's, I cannot talk in my agreement with McDonald's Food Incorporated. I agreed that I would not talk about the settlement amount and what the issue was. But if you want to look up my name, Torsten Kunert, you know the spelling, Torsten Kunert versus McDonald's Inc. in Los Angeles Superior Court, talk is cheap. There it is. And look how the case was settled, right? It was settled out of court. And man, you want to believe that I was deposed? I was deposed 2 days, like literally in a row, from early morning, 8 o'clock, till late afternoon. And they probably flew in 11 different attorneys. So that was probably the toughest deposition I was ever in. They will ask you questions. So was it south or was it north? Or was it perhaps east or was it west? Or, you know, they'll constantly try and confuse you in a deposition. But if you know the truth and speak the truth, it's very easy to be in a deposition, right? And, you know, I want to ask the tough questions, right? I want to ask a specific manager, and I had a witness on my side at the Los Angeles Hub, if he knew that insiders at Uber were taking $5,000, that's black, you know, black money under the table in order to get an SUV license in LA, right? So people, the legitimate route, right, the ethical route, went through the procedures, got the licensing, and then there were the individuals that paid insiders $5,000 to obtain that SUV license. Yes, here in LA, and I'm sure in many other cities, right? I know the names, I know the manager that I spoke to, and I know the answers that I got, right? All on record, right? So defend that in court. That affects a lot of people, folks, right? If you're doing shenanigans on that level, you know, literally maybe taking bribes of $5,000, that's just one thing, you know. Changing referral dollars, right? Signing up people in Los Angeles for $700, have to do 100 trips, and then with the hopes that nobody realizes, but then switching them to $100 and 50 trips, same city, right? And on and on and on. And I'm not making this stuff up. I get it verified. I get the same story from Jack. I get the same story from Jill. I get the same story from Tony. I get the same story from Harry, right? Everyone says, shit, the same thing happened to me. So then you got to take the microscope and you got to start looking at the paperwork, and you got to sort of take an eagle approach and look at all the dynamics. What are they doing? What do they think they can get away with? And you have to hold up the mirror and you have to bring the evidence, right? At any trial, powerful evidence wins the day. If you don't have the evidence, if you don't have the proof, if you don't have the goods, I will tell you, the judge will rule against you, right? So, yes, Mark Roughton said, who are these individuals? These are all high-powered Uber attorneys in San Francisco, in the United Kingdom, in Brazil. These are all the heavy hitters I've mentioned, including, and I deliberately put him last because I think he's the worst of the worst. Part of that executive team, Tony West, right? He's on that list. And what these folks don't know, I mean, they're getting a salary, they're defending this corporation, but what these people do not understand, when you rally 3 million drivers, and you don't have to have all 3 million, right? You can have a quarter of that. You could have an eighth of that. They have no chance. They have absolutely no chance, right? And as long as the public perceives these individuals as the corrupt ones, as the incompetent ones, right? That stock will always stay at $26. But I tell you what, bring in a real good leader, someone that maybe deserves to be paid $42 million, a really, really heavy hitter, a respected leader, right? Who truly knows how to talk to even the janitor in his company, right? Who respects everyone. Then see the company culture change. Then see how drivers will start reporting about their company again. Listen, this guy Gridwise, who just did this survey with 500 drivers, right? Here he is. Go and subscribe to him. I'm going to put his link there. I really like what he has to say.
Of just
this
more
guy
qualitative responses, people saying, exactly, why do you feel this way? Why do you approve or why do you disapprove of what Dara is doing here? And the things that keep popping up when I look at these more qualitative answers is that drivers are really unhappy about the flat surge. That's something that keeps popping up. Drivers
so this guy, like respect, buddy. And if I can have you on my show, he's out there with his Iron Maiden shirt. He's very well spoken. He has an amazing topic, right? I mean, he flat out.
How much do drivers approve or disapprove of Dara K as Uber CEO? Now, we chose to analyze Uber's Dara just because he is the guy in the rideshare industry, right? Like him, like before that, it was Travis Kalanick. Before that, it was him. But now it's all about Dara. He's like the known. Most of you guys, I would have a hard time naming Lyft CEO right now.
Logan Green.
Right? So
I'll help you out.
We wanted to see. I feel like that this is kind of a good proxy. Analyzing how he is doing is probably a pretty decent proxy about how rideshare drivers feel about the leadership in the rideshare industry in general. So let's kind of just get right to it, right? So the way that we formatted this survey is basically we wanted to kind of mimic a presidential approval rating. So we basically asked, hey, do you approve or disapprove of Dara in X category? Very first question right off the bat that we asked was, do you approve, disapprove, or neither approve or disapprove of what Uber CEO Dara K is doing to help increase the earnings power of drivers? Honestly, unsurprisingly, 36% of rideshare drivers, or 36% of respondents to the survey, I should say, said they disapprove a great deal. Said they disapprove a great deal. Now, again, this will be in the blog. It's probably going to be go ahead and be linked and get linked below. I'll probably try to put some sort of a graphic on the screen. But basically, about 61% of rideshare drivers disapprove of how Dara is helping drivers increase their earnings power at least somewhat, right? So most drivers not very happy with what's going on in terms of helping rideshare drivers just kind of make more money, right? And then we have a couple of just more qualitative responses, people saying, exactly.
We're going to carry on with that video, but I'm going to call Gino Valentino out. I'm sorry, buddy, but you are a complete pussy if you walk through life with that attitude, right? And Gino, here it is. Well, he says, welcome to how the world works. Don't take this personally. I will take this personally because we're fighting the fight and we are making a difference, right? But you are a nobody to them. They laugh at people like us, right? No, the truth is they laugh at people like you. This is what you're doing is classical. It's called psychological projection. Go look it up. Go look it up, right? It's how you feel, right, about yourself. That's how you perceive others in the world, Gino, right? If you do not go out and vote, right, and you stay at home on your couch, the individual will win, right? The person that can bring the most people off the couch to the voting booth will win, right? So if you don't think that one vote or a handful of votes can sway something, can sway an election, can sway a presidency, can sway a decision on a board of directors in a company when there's a group vote. With your attitude, Gino, right, a company would never, ever function. And you're not the type of guy I would have on my side fighting for me. And you would definitely not be the type of guy who would pass any interview if you told me, hey, you know what? Hey, they're laughing at us. We fucking, we're nothing. We're a joke, right? So don't bring that attitude to this room. I decline that type of energy here, right? I decline it. I'm not going to give you the royal flusher, because I do feel that, you're not attacking anyone, or you're not saying horrible things or racist things about anyone. So, you stay in the room, but don't walk through life, Gino, with that attitude, please. It doesn't fly, right? You show up, like I tell my kid, right? Goes to the basketball game, has some doubts, all big kids, right? And they have a couple of big kids and a couple of small kids. And he goes, Dad, they all have big plays. They're going to crush us. I said, stop, Ryan. Come, let's go outside. Let's talk one-on-one for a second. I said, have you ever been intimidated by the bigger guy? No, Dad. Have you ever been fearful of the bigger guy? No, Dad. Well, what are you waiting for? Go in there and show them who's boss, right? And they won the game by 3 points. 27-24 happened this last weekend, right? So, it's in the mindset, folks. It's how you go in. It's about your attitude, but never, ever show up with I've already surrendered attitude. Everybody's laughing at me. It won't fly. You will never become a leader. You will always be a follower, and you'll never get anything accomplished in life with that attitude. So those are harsh words from me to Gino. Take them as you wish. You may love me, you may hate me, but I just want to change your mindset, buddy. Then everyone's mindset is that we got to go out there batting, right? And we got to be able to stand up for what we believe is right? If you don't have anything to stand for, why are you living? Is that called life if you have nothing to stand for? But there are no values, beliefs, or morals that you believe for or stand up for in your life? That's not life, right? So, that's my 25 cents, Gino. Think about it. I don't know you, so I can't judge you. But what I am is I'm looking at the choice of your words, and I'm trying to steer them in the right direction, because these are the individuals we cannot go to war with. We cannot fight the battle with. We cannot, send the message to these individuals with those type of words. And I hope myself crystal clear on that, right? And sorry for coming after you with such intensity, but that's who I am, brother, right? So take it as you wish. And Matthew Parker, it's not right to say bad Gino. I just think it's a bad choice of words, Gino. Stand up for yourself, Gino, right? So I don't think that Gino is a bad individual, just like I don't think that Gio is a bad individual. Remember I said we've banged heads in the past, and he's come after me many, many times, right? But sometimes I got to just use verbal judo. Okay, maybe that's your ego speaking. Maybe you're trying to get subscribers. Maybe that's, wherever that came from. But I can't judge Gio. But one thing I do know, he's a brother, and there are sisters in the rideshare industry that we have to stand up for, right? So if, you can't also go out and judge and say, well, you shouldn't be surprised because you did this and this and this in a previous video, right? No, but have the honor, have the respect, have a panel in place, and say to Gio, this is how you effed up. Don't handle him with bots. Don't handle him with little electronic robots. Give him that dignity at least, right? And a big loss for them. If they truly let him go, if they truly deactivate him, it's a big loss, right? For them, right? Obviously for him too, excuse me. But most importantly, it's a huge loss for a very big market, Chicago. Chicago is a big, big market in the Uber picture. And, you go off and piss off their leader. You go and diss their captain. You go and slap Geo in the face in Chicago. I will guarantee you that the followers in Chicago that have Geo's back on this are not going to think very highly of Uber. So I don't think that Uber thinks things through, right? By going after one captain in Chicago, you are literally going after an entire family of Chicago drivers. Understand that, right? And Gino, trust me when I say, right, that they will not have the last laugh here on Gino. Gino and his drivers in Chicago will have the last laugh on Uber, right? Because you don't just surrender and retreat if you are a Geo. No, you're going to channel that in some way. And you know how he can channel that? He already has 12,000 subscribers. He already has a friend here, regardless of the past. He has another fellow brother right here who has 36,000 subscribers in one channel and another 16,000 in 8 other YouTube channels, right? Other rideshare channels. So he has a driver that he can count on that will go and battle with him. And with that attitude, right? If I adopted Gino's attitude in LA, I'd be no one. I've already surrendered. I would have already given up. So take it as you want. That was just a little, I think, a bad decision and bad call on behalf of Gino. But I like this gentleman's videos, grid-wise. He's on 282 subscribers. I think we should get him up to 1,000 subscribers. I just want to play the rest of the video because I do think it's very powerful, this survey.
Why do you approve or why do you disapprove of what Dara is doing here? And the things that keep popping up when I look at these more qualitative answers is that drivers are really unhappy about the flat surge. That's something that keeps popping up. Drivers don't like that this surge that used to be very profitable, even though it was, a little bit seemed a little phantomy at sometimes. It was very, it could make a driver a ton of money, in a lot of cases. So a lot of drivers really, really mad about that. Same thing with bonuses. A lot of drivers not happy with either the bonuses that they're receiving being decreased or the fact that the bonuses that they're receiving just aren't necessarily good business decisions for them, right? So a lot of times you're in a situation where you get a bonus opportunity. You might have to crank out, a certain amount of rides. That means you have to go to a certain area in the city during a certain time. That honestly is probably not the best strategy for you to be in. So there's a good chance you might make more money.
True.
Doing a different strategy and not focusing on the bonuses at all. That obviously defeats the purpose of a bonus, right? So that's a sentiment that a lot of drivers have expressed here throughout the survey. One of the things, and I would love to hear. I wish Jay was here to talk to me about this. Just a couple things that Uber and Dara can do to help improve this stat. And
listening.
A couple things come to mind is just like the bonus structure is they just need to be they need to bring back bonuses that actually help people make money, right? I think if you're saying like 3 things that
if I listen to the gentleman, everything he says is correct. Basically, a lot of these videos that are made by these channels, by him, by me, is basically just calling on fair payment. Pay us our worth, right? Pay us what we are worth, and we're worth a lot, right? We are platinum 5-star limousine drivers, all of us, right? Because we are giving our best on every single trip, right? We're held to a standard. Even a limousine driver is not rated or held to that standard. We're held to the highest standard. So the rates we should be paid, it goes back to all of his arguments, right? And I like him. He's very well spoken, very eloquent. I want to give him a shout out. Want you people to go over there and subscribe to this link later and rally around this gentleman, because the more people that are trying to break out of that YouTube mold, just trying to get into mainstream, if we could just lift them up and give them a little boost, help Dark Road Run, help this gentleman, just give them a little bit of a lift, right? That's part of my duty, is to say, hey, rally around your brothers and sisters, rally around, go to Geo and ask him, what can I do for you right now? How can I be effective? How can I help you? Can I be some form of moral support to you, right? How can I, or feel free to reach out to me. Is there anything you'd like me to say, or can I make a video on your behalf, right? These are the type of things we can do for each other, right? Takes 3-4 minutes of our time, right? And I think well worth it, right? So to recap, I wish we could start impeachment hearings on CEO Dara K. I think if we go just by his survey, he would be impeached. He would be out of office. I do want to send a loud and clear message to all these legal eagles that work and fight for and represent this company. You haven't seen the true movement yet, right? We are an army of drivers. We are learning. We're empowering ourselves, and we're fighting back. Why are we fighting back? Because you are pushing us into a corner, right? You're trying to not give us an out, but we will find the out, and that is in form of educating ourselves and fighting for our worth, right? Because we are worthy, right? We are worthy of more. And I think anybody that would, any future leader of Uber or Lyft who sees our value, who feels that we are worthy, would be speaking very, very differently than the Tony Wests, would be speaking very differently than the Dara K's or the Logan Greens, and that is what we deserve. And that is what I'm going to keep on fighting for as a goat of rideshare, right? So Gary Kubeta, I salute you. Green CEO too, they will never. Again, change your mindset, buddy. Never, ever say never, right? Just change your mindset. And things start happening when you change. Again, another negative, your mindset is stuck in the negative. Green CO2, Uber will never consider the welfare of drivers. Why doesn't anyone get that? What you don't get, Green CO2, is that the current group of executives may have that thinking, but it is our duty to oust them, to kick them out, and to bring in people that do understand. So don't go in with that mindset. Never, never, ever is the language of a pessimist, right? Forever I can, I will is the language of an optimist. I am the person that will fight for change and will push for a new CEO. And I think when we get that new CEO, we will have true leadership, right? So your choice of words in these times, it's so important, right? It's so important. Mr. Sam says Dara was born in dictatorship and runs Uber as such. The dictator gets rich and fat while the people starve and die. But those people that start starving and dying, they revolt and they rise up, right? In every country, it's happened that way. Even with the leader Robert Mugabe, right? The people that were starving out there in Zimbabwe, they rise up, they fight, right? And they topple them. They overturn the generals, they overturn their army, and they bring in new leadership, right? And it doesn't mean that that next leader for 4 years is a good one, right? Maybe the one after that genuinely cares about them, right? Green CO2 says maybe a new company is the answer. That's not just a maybe, that's a definite. We do need a few new players, right, to mix it up. And Wall Street or investors are saying that there's no path to profitability for Uber, but only if Uber bought Lyft and monopolizes and can set their own rates, right? That's when there is a path to success or profitability. But would you ever see a merger? Would you ever see Uber swallowing Lyft? I don't think that they have the resources and the money to do that. But at the same time, I do think that other little guys will start emerging, right? And that is where we need to invest time, money, and efforts, right? I just answered your question there, Green CO2. But anyway, let's just all work on our mindset a little bit. Let's gear it up for positivity. Let's gear it up for possibility. And then let's not put ourselves down, right? Try and erase these words: never, can't, will not, right? Those are words of surrender. Those are words of giving up. So I kindly ask you to flick the switch there, right? So my friends, I wish you a fantastic day. I'm now going to spend the rest of the afternoon with my two beautiful children. Quality time, take them out for lunch, have some good conversations, and just talk about life and just enjoy my kids, right? Because for me, there is a life beyond Rich. There's a life beyond running my other companies, right? And that's my family. So we need to find balance here, right? And I don't want you guys to work around the clock. And because your earnings went down, you're finding yourself working 10 hours more to make up the deficits. No, rather go out and find something that pays better, right? And do this part-time. Mix it up a little bit, right? So Reno, Nevada, Tina, nice to see you here. Robin, thank you. Green CO2, thank you for your contribution. Sandy Man, thank you. Mr. Sand, thank you. Slick Nick, thank you. I hope to meet you too, Slick Nick. Hope we can get that movie going. Remember, you have an actor here already. Mark Fowdy, thank you for being part of the stream. And Grand Rapids, Green CO2, drive safe out there. Username, drive safe. And anyone that I haven't mentioned right now, I'm giving you a shout out. I appreciate you guys. Much love. Till the next live stream. Drive safe.